Hi, this is Praios and I'm a professional gambler. This video will show you a stream I recorded recently on Twitch. And yeah, the topic will be how good is Phil Galfond. Phil Galfond is a PLO and a poker legend. And yeah, we will see how good he actually is in this video. So if you don't know yet, that's how the guy looks. And yeah, in order to determine how good he is, I used some solvers. The first one is PLO Vision and the second one is the PLO Trainer. And yeah, if you want to support me, feel free to use the referral links I will put in the description. The price stays the same. I just get a small cut. Yeah, and if you don't use it yet, these tools will definitely increase your poker skills a lot. So I can only recommend them. And yeah, also make sure to like and subscribe for the YouTube algorithm. And yeah, it also keeps me motivated. And yeah, if you are subscribed, you will also don't miss any of the content. So it's a win-win. Yeah, as this is out of the way, let's now get into it.
So I raised pre-button called, Melody called on the button, decided to check call the flop. I was thinking about check raising, and maybe I should have. The reason I shied away from it was that, again...
Okay, from his commentary, we know that he check called flop. Oh, so this probably is a single raise pot, correct? So he open raises, this guy calls. $70, $85 in the pot. Yeah, so that's a single raise pot. Bet call on the flop. And yeah, now let's see what he's now doing.
Ace X of spades, I'm in pretty bad shape. Not terrible shape, I still have a lot of equity, but and betting this flop would have been okay as well. Against this turn bet, it's actually quite tempting to jam. You guys have seen me slow play a number of times. This is a very strong draw. And I'm reading a little bit into the sizing that, could easily be wrong. But this strikes me a little bit as a protection bet. A lot of people on a double flush draw board pot it with their big hands. It could also mean the nut flush draw, though, which is like doesn't mind, like combo draw doesn't mind you coming along, but they're not going for like pure value, so they don't want this to happen. But she still might call me with like a ace queen jack 4 with nut spades.
Okay. Don't disagree with this analysis so far. I think you could also debate shoving flop. I remember back in the day I did a lot of analysis with pro poker tools, and you are never doing that bad if you ship this hands in. But yeah, this for sure is not calculating in all the other implication it has when you ship in all these hands on the flop, because then you would have a very weak hand range once you just call. So you have to have some slow pace too. I, in the past, did not necessarily think about my whole range when I was analyzing hands. But yeah, in a nutshell, shoving the flop can't be too bad either. Maybe even better. So let's get into this. So let's first look into this scenario on the flop. So this is cutoff versus button. Let's say this is 100 BB. This is the best approximation we got. Single raise pot is correct. It's an unpaired board of ace 8 10, ace 10 8. So in other words, this already sucks as we don't have this board. Ace jack 9. Should we take this one instead? Yeah, I think that's best alternative we got. So we are the pre-flop aggressor. We have king, 10, jack, queen. So this is... We also have to change the suits. So the 10, the spade. Okay, can't do the suits in here, so we have to find... this looks like it's our hand. Yeah, close to it. That's very annoying, but you have to manual search for your exact hand. This is better solved in Elo Trainer. So yeah, looks like this is a mix between checking and betting. Although we don't have the king and spades. This is better. So this is again, yeah, a mix between betting and checking. So checking is definitely not bad. That's what we already found out. So after checking, we like to re-raise if we got the backdoor flush draw too. And yeah. So I wasn't wrong about the check raise move, it seems. Yeah, it seems like there's hearts. Even hearts with no backdoor stuff is check raising. So my good old Pro Poker Tools analyzers seem to be correct. That we want to check raise this a ton. So yeah, first mistake already. It's also annoying now because if we now click, we cannot proceed with the turn analysis because yeah, we simply do not have the hand in our range. Okay. Let's see if we have what the competition thinks about this spot. Maybe we got the exact board. Although I think they copy pasted from each other. Not sure who took the boards from whom, but I think probably Jay Nandes, so the poker trainer from Vision, because Vision was on the market earlier, if I'm not mistaken. So we have to take this one too. And let's see. We are supposed to do... We need to resize this a bit. This thing is completely visible and we can type in our hand. King, 10, jack, queen with 2 spades. Seems like in this sim, we want to bet a lot more often than the other one. Yeah, we are not checking as much as in the other one. And I think the poker trainer ones are more accurate. So betting the flop also is a thing we could consider. So checking is not necessarily the thing we want to do. And if we check what is our board, it's checking primarily with the backdoor flush draw 2, it seems. What about the EV? Seems like the EV of betting is almost always higher. Yeah, that's a definitely difficult spot, but yeah, betting and check raising flop both might be okay. But yeah, let's see what happens once we decided to check. Oh, that's also range. This is a different bet sizing. I think 3/4 for both would make more sense, so that's better solved in vision. Anyways, let's get into it. And let's put in our hand again. Jack, queen, king 10, spades. And once we check, we want to check raise always. So we cannot analyze the turn with the help of the solver, unfortunately, because of that. Okay, let's see if we would have turn sims. Okay, no turn sims for this one. Let's see if round once has turn sims. We usually have way more turn sims, so yeah, nice. We got it. We got it. So yeah, on post flop spots, especially on the turn, vision has a lot more spots, so this is quite helpful. So I guess we got to change our hand now to... we have to assume that we just got the backdoor flush draw, because otherwise we would not have gotten to the turn. And yeah, we should check always, or almost always. And if we check and face a bet, what is our action? Looks like the solver is almost always going for the check call. With no flush draw backdoors, it's even holding some. And only if we would have had 3 spades, we would use this hand to bluff with. So yeah, at least in solver world, Galfond's first play is not the correct one. But maybe we heard also more reads. I mean, he already shared his thoughts on this one. And I think check raising is definitely not a big mistake. But yeah, as I said, I also prefer to check raise flop. I mean, 2 more cards to come, better equity in general. This also, on a board like this, it looks so much as like you having a draw, so maybe you picked up 2 flush draws or stuff. So yeah, I think, yeah, check calling. I would have liked this action more. And yeah, if check raising, check raise the flop. This is also in line with the solver. So let's continue and see what happens.
Which would obviously have me in rough shape. But I think some people would say, what am I representing? But given what you've seen me, how you've seen me play thus far, I think you know that I can have some sets here and top 2 pair and the like.
Okay, his opponent had top and bottom pair. Or not bottom pair, yeah, like ace-8. I mean, it's not top 2, but it's like the second best 2-pair hand, and also gut shot. He is not blocking the draws very much, so I can't blame him once he bets to get it in, after he only needs like 33% equity. But yeah, Galfond gets there and ships a nice little pot.
I think this is too loose. Going with ace-8. She happened to be right in this case. And was unlucky, but even against my hand, this hand I think would be a fold in the hijack, but since we're effectively in the cutoff.
Not sure if it's to lose from his opponent's standpoint. I mean, he most likely has a lot of draws taking this line, but on the other hand, if Galfond has a mate hand, then he is fucked. Okay, in for a few minutes, just finished my own training session and have to leave in a few minutes. Okay, yeah, thanks for joining. Always nice to have you here. Let's continue. Yeah, let's go.
Go ahead and open. Even against my hand, that is like, I don't know. Flipping or something. And that's more or less the best case scenario. I can understand the call because it's a double flush draw board, there's straight draws present. The other thing I didn't mention about shoving my hand is that I block ace 10, which I actually expected ace 8 to fold, but ace 10 to call. Westweed 94. Hi, Phil. Do you think Elias Gutierrez has enough talent to reach the high stakes? I mean, he plays high stakes. He plays...
Preflop looks standard so far.
I think definitely 10-20. I think 25-50. I'm not sure about 5100, but I mean, my experience, I've never played against him. My experience is from his run at once training videos.
Also, don't get fooled. This now is not PLO 1K anymore. It's 1-2 only. And we are deeper than 100 big blinds. Getting donked into, that's definitely not a great spot, but getting this price, he probably has to call.
Sorry. So I'm going to peel here, I suppose. It's kind of a weird spot to have I have a few hands going on. So down here, there's 50 euros.
Yeah, ace 8, coming back to the other spot and replying to chat. Ace 8 definitely could be way behind already, but yeah, he also gets a good price. He only has like, what does he need? Like 35%. I think this is definitely close one. So yeah. Not sure if you in general have full equity against ace 8 that much, but yeah, you are right. This is definitely a very close spot for ace 8. But yeah, also think about all the draws against which ace 8 might do quite well.
Splash, button raised. I decided to peel with a pretty weak hand. I'm going to bet turn and probably bluff a lot of rip.
And also don't forget about the fact that often mate hands will go crazy on the flop already. So let's now get back into this. Oh, this again. Okay, what I think I didn't got what Phil did here. Was he just folding?
I suppose it's kind of a weird spot to have I have a few hands going on. So down here, there's 50 euro splash, button raised. I decided to peel with a pretty weak hand. I'm going to bet turn and probably...
I mean, here's a straight draw. Two opponents. Was it checked through on the flop? Yeah, I mean...
bluff a lot of rivers. And up here, I defend the big blind. I was considering 3-betting, but I had too much going on. And
yeah, this probably is a 3-bet, I say. We want to check this. Why not? So, although this is also a close one for sure. So the button raises, he folds, it's up to us, and we got the good old ace 8, ace king 8 jack. One suit only. Close one. Over is undecided, but looks closer to a call. So Galfond was right here.
decided not to. It could. There are a couple sizing options here. I think this hand can go in either, but I'm going to try to keep in some weaker stuff.
This sizing probably is not standard. think this probably is a bigger bet, and as we will probably not have any sims for this on the other one, we will solve it his own program and see what he's doing. We have to change this one too. So this is button versus big blind. Board is ace queen 7, which we don't have. This is always annoying. So let's take ace queen 6 instead, I guess. Turn has to be a 4, right? Yeah, turn has to be a 4, so it's getting check, check. And we put in a 4. And now our hand is ace, king, check, 8, 8. And yeah, the sizing, if we bet, is 75%. What should we do with the ace of backdoor flush draws? We cannot have the ace. Oh. Looks like the king high flush draw is doing a mix between betting and checking. Yeah, that's about our hand. So yeah, can't do too bad, whatever you decide to do. But yeah, the sizing is too small.
And up here we face a big turn bet. I mean, we're not supposed.
That's a tough one too. Let's look into this. The help of Pilo Vision 2. So let's do, what is it? This is again cutoff versus button. Board is 10-8 deuce. Okay, it's 10-8 4 instead. And lob goes. The donk also was smaller. Oh, okay. Made a mistake, sorry. Again, it's again 10-8 4. And remove this end. And what is cutoff supposed to do? Cutoff is supposed to check most of the time. And if he donks, 50% is the right sizing. So maybe his opponent also got into solvers. And our hand is king, king. 7-4, I guess. Because we got the bottom pair. And we are not supposed to have this hand ever. So it seems like the 3-bet already was to lose. What can we edit it to? Are we allowed to have this one? No. This one, no. This is surprising to me. I thought this is a 3-bet. Let's do some more research into this topic. King, 7 deuce. Maybe this hand is a 3-bet, but was supposed to do something else on the flop. Oh, look at this. You're not supposed to 3-bet this one ever. But the king 7-4, which I said we got, can forward sometimes. So let's see, maybe. No. Okay, they just got different sims again. And we cannot have the hand we actually have. So what happens if we made this an ace? Then we should fold quite a lot. What if we got the backdoor flush draw? With the backdoor flush draw, we are calling most of the time. With nothing else, we are folding. That's the solver wants to be quite passive here. So we call, and the turn is another 8. That does not bring a draw. And we get bet into again. Okay, we have 2 sizings here. This is closer to pot, so let's assume this would be pot. And now we are folding. Unless we got the nut flush draw. Or 3 spades. Strange. But okay. Yeah, but we fold the majority. Yeah, I would also recommend fold
here, but I think I'm going to.
Yeah, he also is folding.
And down here, we river the nuts.
Okay, if you river the nuts, then life is easy.
And I think it's important not to go for a check raise with this hand. Reason being, I don't block any pairs. Makes it pretty likely that he's got a pair of some kind, or 2-pair combo of some kind. So we do get value up here. We did block bet the turn. We got raised.
Okay, interesting. So he block bets turn, got raised, and now he has nuts. I think he should donk. Because this is a very scary card. His opponent will check back a lot. He can put him on missed clubs. So yeah, donking would be my play. And that's what
value
he does.
Bet this river leading into him. I have plenty of ace of spades, XX hands that I can turn into bluffs there. And I'm running pretty hot at this point. Not so much at 200 PLO, but
yeah, that's definitely an open.
We saved it for the 5-10, which is where it counts.
Ooh, it's an interesting flop. I think betting and checking are both options.
Really good enough hand to bet. I don't have to bet. I think I will.
Pot is...
I tend to use 2 sizings in most spots out of position.
Ooh, that's why I would have checked flop. Because I don't want to get raised with this hand ever. So yeah, this is a really, really tough one now. Yeah, interesting what Galfond will decide to do. I say he should fold.
And we get raised. Is he potting it? No, not quite. I don't think we can fold.
Okay.
So I'm going to call.
So different opinions here already. So let's get into it and see what the solver thinks. I think that's also quite fair to yeah, to have me give my opinion, give him his opinion, then we look into the solver. So we played with this. I hope we got this board this time. Queen 7-5. Nope, we don't have it. Queen 7-6 it is, I think. We got ace, queen, king, deuce. And I picked the wrong board. Okay. This should not take too long to fix. Again, pretty accurate from me to say that checking is a better play, and checking is what the solver does a lot. But actually not with two backdoor flush draws. But he's not using a great sizing like Galfond does, because then it's a lot easier to call a raise. Let's see what happens once he gets raised. Yeah, he should call this hand then, but yeah, this is different sizing. I mean, for half pot I call the raise, but for full pot or full pot and then getting raised for almost full pot, I would let it go. I don't think that his opponent is bluffing enough.
Meanwhile, down here, I check back the flop with top 2 after raising pre.
Oh, interesting one too. Check back the flop with top 2. I would not have done this either. Would have bet. And now he's facing a very small bet, and he has to build the pot at some point, so I would raise.
Because it's a board I'm going to do a lot of checking on. I think it's quite close to my hand, but also this is the kind of hand that, you know, is not going to end up being a very strong hand on a lot of runouts. So that's why I choose to, you might call it slow play, but I'm just calling it, you know, pot control.
Okay, yeah, I mean, his argumentation makes sense. He checked back because he's not hitting this board very often, with which I agree. Yeah, see you later, bye-bye. Thanks for turning in. Okay.
Or not like pass up on a tiny bit of value, essentially.
Interesting. The turn is check, but yeah, he could easily have like queen 7 or something, or a set which now got scared because all the draws got were with the 8 basically. So yeah, I would just try to show it down in Galfond's shoes. Yeah, hand is too good to turn into a bluff. He might be beat. He could also check back second nut straight or something. So yeah,
raise turn. I'm gonna
checking it down.
Slam it on the river, and up here it goes check on the turn. He's played his hand a lot like a queen 7 or 5-5 or something like that. I think I lose, but I'm not going to bluff with queen deuce, certainly.
Okay, same opinion. And what does he have? Oh, set. So I thought it would have been a good choice.
7-7. Pot river down here.
Okay. The river, you get some more money in. I expect him to be good most of the time.
Get snap called. We will
and he is good.
See what Kaylee held.
Kaylee held. Where is it? 5, 6. I have no idea. I think another full house.
10 high diamonds. With a 4.
Okay, so she had to.
I think very, very, very understandable call there.
And
I would make the same call
because she had trips too. So yeah,
limping everything when there's a 2 big blind splash because I'm not going to have a folding range, and then I'll do a fair bit of limp re-raising. This hand's just going to be a limp call.
You might be wrong about this. Let's see what Poker Tracker thinks about this one. What do I think? I think this might be a fold. If it's not a fold, it's a raise, I say. Not limping. Again, completely different opinions. A check. 3. And this hand is a fold.
QQ1 cup. Threw on 25 euro today and spun it up to 220. Games are so soft. Heart. Here's to Phil streaming full time. Thank you, man. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'm glad you.
Like this check. Pot controlling, bluff inducing, making his checking range a big bit stronger.
I'm glad you
fan of this play.
Did well. Hope that continues for you. We're at 242 players. God, only in the second hour of my stream, towards the end. Yeah, ends of the second hour. This is very exciting. It's a very exciting week all around. Yesterday was amazing.
I don't know what the best place here. I think very unsure, to be honest. After his opponent showed weakness, probably a bet is fine, and that's what he does.
I think the only way to top yesterday is not that I expect this to happen, or I'm trying to encourage you, but the only way to top yesterday is maybe hitting the 500, or perhaps like a couple of huge splashes. These 5-10 games.
That's a bad hand.
We saw some very big splash, or one single very big splash. We saw a 2,000 euro splash yesterday at 200 PLO at this stakes, and I played my hand terribly, bluffed off 200 euro for no good reason. But yeah, it was pretty cool. I'll go ahead and bet this one. You guys have seen me do a lot of checking.
Okay, looks like raised pot where he got two callers in the blinds. Yeah, like the bet. He has top two, he's in position. He has to protect his hand. Looks standard to me.
With two pair, but being in position and, well, I don't check all of my top two pair. That's kind of all I need to say. Skeptical TV says, since we know your favorite emoji.
Ooh, full house.
I think you mean, okay, like, yeah. Who's your, oh, yeah.
I think a relatively small bet seemed to make sense to me. Yeah, trying to fake a small bluff in order to get out the draws or something.
Who's your favorite avatar on the site? That's a good question, and to be honest, I haven't picked an answer. This spot, I don't really know how I feel about it. I have a few hands going on. Sorry. Defend the big blind down here. You missed an unsuccessful small bluff on.
This defend also seems on the edge, but might be fine. Check this one out too. Yeah, probably fine, I say. Oh, we are covered from the chat. Oh, let's see. Yeah, calling is correct, and it's not even close, so yeah.
Another table. We do get called up here, and I still don't love bombing this, just because, again, on these paired boards...
Yeah, I would bet like half pot to 3/4, something like that.
Boards, blockers matter so much. Skeptical TV, let me think about my favorite avatar, because I don't know the answer. I definitely like Doc. That's what we call this guy.
Why is not it? I think his favorite avatar should be his avatar.
Down here, this went check, check, flop, and I potted twice.
Yeah, it seems fine.
Got the river fold, unfortunately.
I hate...
How's that, Master? Good to see you in here. How's it going?
Switch between tables. I would like it way more if they have just the 4 tables open which we are playing or something like that. So this is just annoying.
C. Martin says blocking and unblocking is more important than these absolute hand value than absolute hand value. Excuse me. Let me say it again. Blocking and unblocking is more important than absolute hand value in these polarized spots. A weaker set with better blockers, unblockers should be a higher EV call. Obviously, Phil knows this. This is for chat. Yeah, no, it's a great point, and I'm glad you pointed it out. The reason you hear, well, if you watch a lot of strategy videos or...
This does not look like a great flop. Would fold to a bet.
You've watched me a few times. The reason we talk about blockers all the time is, I know it can sound like a silly thing, like who cares what suit my 10 is when I have top 2 pair. That's what I have.
Ooh, they're getting checked too. I mean, probably a give up, but if you have some reads and if your opponent is relatively straightforward, I don't mind taking a step.
But the fact of the matter is, when you're playing now, it's not as important as some people make it seem at in softer games. When you're playing against very good competition, they're going to work very hard to balance their range, and what that means is they're going to be bluffing with the optimal frequency, or attempting to bluff with the optimal frequency compared to their value bets, so on and so forth. And
oh, that's an interesting one. His opponent also is not full stacked. He can be destroyed so hard still, but yeah, I think he should bet big and go with it. That's what I would have.
And so what you hold in your hand, if you're blocking portions of their value range, that means if they're perfectly balanced, the fact that you're blocking their value range but not their bluffs means that they're more likely to have one of their bluffs than a value hand, and it
Bill agrees. And it also seems like he either is thinking about everything very much, I mean, he's not doing stuff instantly, or he is looking very well after not giving timing tells. So I like that too.
Tips the scales slightly in your favor in some of those spots. Easy jam there after 3-betting. It is important to 3-bet this hand. Don't like double suited, ace, and reasonable pair connected hands are very good hands. I know some people are afraid to 3-bet like non-aces or non-kings because they're going to end up without an overpair, but you're passing up too much value if you're not. This is going to be a limp re-raise.
Really? Is this a limp re-raise? I say this is not a limp re-raise. I say this is a raise. Yep. That's a raise. Sorry, Phil.
Gumpenstein. All you need to do is get...
Let's give him another chance. I mean, this is closer to 50 than to 100 BBs. In this case, I'm a bit undecided. But limp raising seems to be over the top still. But there I get the point of the display. And still a raise.
Someone famous stroke Trump's ego, and he will legalize poker in the US. LOL. It's not a bad idea, to be honest. Some other questions that I see our mods have answered. I guess I'll just check fold.
You're talking about my pre-flop course. This is still available. Not on Twitch, that's correct, but it's still available on YouTube. Yeah, Praios Poker is my nick on YouTube, and can watch all the things there. Also, I had also another stream yesterday where I was training pre-flop, so feel free to check it out there. No, can't pull. I mean, this just makes no sense. It's also not me deleting it. Twitch deletes it automatically after a certain time frame. I think it's like 1 or 2 weeks or something. I think other streamers that have more following might be able to keep it forever or longer, but not me, as I'm not big enough yet. Okay, happy to help.
Jacks here. I don't really have a good chance to improve this hand. And
yeah, that's a fold. He's correct.
And kind of maybe the theme of today is don't just look at your absolute hand strength. Like there, I beat any pair besides a queen. Maybe that's not the best example because
that's fold.
Not a very strong hand. Here we face a button limp.
And got a limper. If someone's limping, I would limp behind.
I think I'll just call.
Yep.
But this could be raised if Eddie's limping some weak stuff. But it's not just what your hand is right now, it's what it's going to end up being, and you know, whether you have
this sucks a bit, but
good implied
I think now we are committed to see
odds or reverse implied odds. It's the same reason that, you know, in Hold'em, you fold ace-4 offsuit in a spot where you raise 7-6 suited. Ace-4 offsuit's a better hand, but in terms...
Oh, Phil gets lucky. He's on the check button. Let's think about that. He is blocking the draws only partially, and he hates that when it's getting checked through. Ooh, this is actually a very tough one. I think betting small is quite good. I'm not sure if it's GTO, but then Jose is in a very bad spot, and he will often call, and then Eddie might shove, and then we are in a great spot now. So bet small is my advice.
I could lead nines there, because the stack situation put...
Yeah, Phil also said that he could lead, but this time he decides to check. This is also fine, for sure.
Jose in a tough spot with hands like this and some bluffs, but I was talking. But yeah, for the same reason that in Hold'em, 7-6 suited is often better than ace-4 offsuit in a number of pre-flop spots.
Well, this card is not great. 10-jack now got there, and he's blocking all his redraw outs if in case someone has a straight. I would check again.
It does carry over in Hold'em to post-flop as well, but in PLO, I would say it carries over even more so. So here, I'll go for the block bet. Get value and protection. It's unfortunate that I block a queen. I'd be hoping to get called by some like ace queen 10 type hands, perhaps.
Don't like it. I mean, no, don't like that. Simply don't like it. Not much that your opponents can call you with.
Perhaps, but I think it's important when there's a one card gut shot available that you protect your hand in some of those spots. All right, so we call a 3-bet here. This is going
to... Is this an open, though? Yeah, I think it probably is. And he called the 3-bet, and he flopped the nuts. Should he check, though? I mean, it's not the nuts, but yeah, he can treat it as a nuts. I mean, even if his opponent is having 10-jack, he's still in good shape, as he has the gut shot to the better straight and also a set. Only the queens would be unfortunate, so... But the question also is, what should he do? Should he donk or should he... This is actually interesting. I mean, aces and stuff are checking back so much, so I say donk is what I would do. Not sure if it's a GTO line, but I would donk.
A flop we lead on quite a bit, and I think this hand is a perfect hand to do it with.
Okay, Phil wants to lead as well. Let's solve this one with Below trainer this time because this is way faster. Or maybe this is just because I'm used to it. And the flop is Queen 9-8, Rainbow. Queen 9-8, Rainbow. 1,000 iterations per node. I think that's quite a lot. And we messed up because we are deeper than 50 BBs. So sorry for that. We do it again. That's a re-raise, fold. He calls. 9-8 still. And if he donks, he should use half pot sizing. But let's see if this is a hand to donk with. 9-9, King 10. It is 100% donk bet.
Looking for about third pot. It could definitely go larger with this hand as well, but I want to make sure we get called by like aces or ace queen 10x. And that's
nuts with a redraw. And straight that just has a 10 probably calls him. Yeah, it's just, you just have to decide what sizing is best in order to get all the money in. But yeah, as he has 2 streets left to go, this should be no problem.
one heck of a turn. I definitely want to bet, but I think I can go kind of small.
I like half pot.
Would have preferred maybe very slightly bigger than this, or very. It doesn't really matter. Go to sleep, Mama says. Always an absolute pleasure to see Phil, the master, Galfond in play.
Ship it in.
Thank you, although I don't love having the same nickname as Menwin. But thank you for the compliment and for being here. I guess I'm jamming. It's a weird spot. I think jam maybe should not be my sizing here. I think maybe I should go half pot. But it's just like he's not folding a 10, so it seems like the right play. In theory, it's a little weird because I guess I can just jam a 10 and jam hands like that, and he just can't fold those. And obviously jam a couple bluffs, but not very many. Gonna 3-bet this one as our run good continues at the higher stakes games. Hopefully you guys are learning a bit along the way before I bust everybody and break these games. But actually, I wouldn't mind.
That's an interesting flop. Also a bit deep. Wouldn't mind a check.
Sorry, what do I want to do here? Bet small. I wouldn't mind.
Would never choose the small sizing. If I bet, I would at least bet half pot. But let's see what the solver thinks. I also think checking is what I want to do here. Was his opponent's position? I think it was the button, correct? So raise, fold, re-raise, call, ace, queen 5. Queen 6 is fine, I guess. We have to edit full send to adjust for the change of board. So Phil will now have ace, check, 7, 8. Okay, betting is what he does majority of the time. Okay, it also looks like this is not a free bet, as I only see, although that's not true, board I only see the ace-high flush draw, but Is there another flush draw possible? I mean, nothing displayed here, so it looks like only the ace-high flush draws are allowed to 3-bet. So that's a tiny preflop mistake by the master, and now we could not use. I mean, with the ace-high flush draw, this is a way better bet than this. So yeah, I think checking should be fine. As said, we cannot check.
Giving some lower stakes people opportunities to win
So-
bounties against me if these tables do in fact break. Here we get a new player joining us. Oh no, he's been here before. Coming back. So I have an interesting spot.
Good turn. That's flop. It does. I mean, betting can't be too bad. I mean, he has great equity against most things, and he will almost never get raised. So he wouldn't hate if he bets again. But checking seems fine too. So
Spot here. My hand is a good
let's see what his reasoning is and what he does.
multi-component hand. It's a pretty good candidate, I think, to block bet again, because it doesn't want to narrow his range to the point where it's like 2-pair plus. I don't get to bluff him off of too much here, I think. That's better than my hand. So I prefer to keep in just his weakest stuff that I dominate. And I think I have an interesting spot now. I think I probably have the best hand.
I think so too, but it's hard to get called by verse. He might be bluffing with some weak shit which he got to the river with. But on the other hand, he could have weaker 2-pairs, or like ace-king and feel like he has to call. This has to be very tough. And unfortunately, neither PLO trainer nor what is the other one called? PLO Vision is having any river sim, so no way we could look into this. And also the solver is never doing this block betting type exploitative strategy. But I like it actually. And his reasoning also is good. Yeah, on the river, it's close. It shouldn't matter too much. Check or bet.
So I'm going to go for some thin value.
Yeah, it's okay. Seems like he gets called.
With the 3-street block bet.
Wow. So yeah, my line with the check calling river would probably cost more money.
Ah, he's queen. So I mean, I was fortunate to not lose more there. But I don't think he played his hand poorly by any means. I definitely do a lot of block betting with ace-ace as well. And I'm actually pretty happy.
Actually, it seems quite unlikely that he does block betting with the aces on this board. I mean, I at least wouldn't expect him to do.
With the way that I played that hand. CR Martin 11, is there an instant play option for Rio, or do you have to download the client? You do have to download the client. We don't have an instant play option or a browser-based version.
Nice hand to forward with. And ooh, that's a tough situation. Definitely see betting small, but what do we do if you get raised? Might even be able to fold still because there's no ace-high flush draw which your opponent could have.
Now self-conscious about all my squinting, as somebody pointed it out earlier. I don't know what is right here. I don't think I can fold after betting, although with the ace of diamonds, it's slightly more reason than maybe I could.
Okay, Phil is lost. That's what he said, more or less. Not sure if I have. Do I have? I have the 2 people version 2. So let's look into this 4-bet pot and 4-bet pot, and it is 966. Okay, that's a paired board. 9, 6. Oh, we got it. And it's single suited. So 9, 6, 6 single suited. Ace, king, jack, ace. Okay, we got check too. And we should bet it. Is any bet folding happening? So seems like the solver wants to commit with most hands. So pot is the answer unless we are very strong. And also, yeah, it looks like the small sizing is not used very much. So we probably now have to get it in. Oh, we have some folds still. But not with our hand. So he is correct and I was incorrect, but he cannot fold anymore. At least based on what the solver says. Let's also cross-check. And yeah, sorry, but I was putting this behind the chat. And also let's also cross-check with this one. And 2 players. Raise, 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 call. And no sims here, unfortunately. So there's the edge from Vision. More preflop sims. Okay. It's called. That's not a good turn.
Ziwe asks, is Rio primarily a cash
I would check. You probably do.
game client? Yes, right now we have cash games only. Sit and goes are next on our list.
Not that much, but it can beat.
I love the WNBA asks, if you appear in Ivy's edge sorting movie script, who would you want to play you? That's tough. I think I just showed down aces, or I definitely showed down aces here. Not enough value.
Always have one at kings, but you probably can't extract more value. You bet it's more like a bluff.
I don't know. I don't have a good answer. I'm sorry. I don't know. So I get 4-bet here. I've marked this player as erratic. I don't remember why.
Oh, that's a tough spot. Against a maniac. The maniac you can't fold. You fold. Is non-maniac? Probably not. No idea. Is this a 3-bet? Probably is. Oh. Ace, king, 8-4. King, 8-4. Ooh, ace, king, 8-4. Could go into the mug, as it seems, but against the maniac, as I said, not mugging this.
But because of that, I am going to continue and call my hand. And obviously good enough flop for me to go with my hand. I could do so by betting or by checking. I think because I just have the 8 and like, I think...
Yeah, I mean, he can't go wrong on whatever he does.
Betting is a little bit better. There's a small chance he has like ace, queen, jack, and checks back, although I think it's really unlikely. Actually, get it in kind of good, but does not work out. Nice hand to him. I don't like that choice of hand for a 4-bet, but it's at least, it's not terrible. It tells me nice hand. This is usually a fold, small blind versus button, but I know this player has been quite loose. Obviously, I continue running
Yeah, I think that's a fold. He's correct. And yeah, that's a good flop.
good. Although I've been losing at 200, so.
It's quite dry. Could just check and wait for a safe turn. A check call, I mean. Check raising gets you in a very tough spots on many turns. I'd say check call. Also strengthening your checking range a bit.
Maybe this is the start of another me getting stacked. I'm kind of hoping it is. I feel bad I've won too much today against my beloved Rio players. We're at 200.
Yeah. Also, if we are deep, I hate it even more that he's raising, and I also don't like the sizing. I mean, it's probably just a function of what his opponent does. And yeah. Yeah, I think he just wants him to get over the pot top again. Oh yeah. Yeah. His opponent is flashy. This might be good.
42 currently active. That's awesome. I haven't been paying enough attention to that because these short-handed high-stakes tables have drawn my attention. But realistically, that's what I care about most, actually. 242. We peaked at 251 this hour.
Worked out. Nicely done, Phil.
300 or like 301 is the previous. Obviously, I'm going with this. Was the previous best during this week of streaming with. That's a very loose.
That's a very bad stack off.
Get in with 500 being the highest that we've ever hit in Run-N-One's Poker's history. And we have a 100 big blind splash. This is 200 euro. It's my hand's terrible. I'm in a limp.
Yeah, it looks like fun. There are some cash drops that's just randomly getting in there. Yeah, but I think the button he cannot get away because, yeah, there's so much money in the pot.
And face a raise, obviously we call. There's 218 in the middle. It only costs us 6 more, but my hand sucks. C.R. Martin points out that Bill Klein owned my soul.
And still sucks, but his opponent does not show any strength. But I think he should still give up or try to hit a 5.
Second or third time I played on high stakes poker, yes he did. And my hand's pretty terrible. I'm not going to bluff. You know, you get a great price on the bluff.
And now he could decide to bluff, as he might have a bluff value in his ace of diamonds, and his opponent showed weakness twice. But yeah, they didn't check to him yet, so let's see what happens.
But I tried that yesterday. It didn't work very well. Please go get got. Are you calling a 4-bet with king 5-9 double suited like your opponent did? Yes, I would have made that call as well.
This is so annoying. I mean, the bet is giving him such a good price. 1/10 of the pot. Very annoying. Could be drawing that though, and there's one more guy behind. Very interesting what he does.
And I guess I fold even though these pot odds are ridiculous. I don't know. 12-1.
Same feelings as I.
I mean, I could hit trip 5s, I could hit an 8 high straights, I could hit aces and 5s, and maybe that's good. Okay, now I can fold.
Yeah, now it's an easy fold. And it seems like Dwayne was trying to induce with his bet.
Fold. I just love looking at the large splash table graphics. It's very exciting. For me, at least. Some of you, I guess, had heard one or two of those stories before.
Looks like Dwayne's plan worked out perfectly, as he was probably trying to put in the check raise. Sag den kurz, sag den ein paar Minuten. Sag den eine Minute. Yeah, I have to go.
Sid Hansithia.
He still folds.
90.
Sick.
Oh, wow. He took that down. All right. So we are done with our...
Yeah, okay. It seems like he's done with his streaming now. And I'm also done with my stream. Yeah, thanks for watching. Until next time. Bye-bye. And yeah, good luck at the tables.